And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. I broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and Live 365 Radio every Friday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Today, my expert contributor is Ray Mailer with his series, The American Grid, and my special guest is Joel Saltzman, yes sir, Dr. Wireless, talking about new developments in wireless technology and technological services. But right now, I want you to know that at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 79 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? It's time for us to talk about the news, and you know what? There's plenty of it, so let's get right to it. I don't want to leave you lacking here, right? First off, this came in 8 minutes ago. United Airlines suffers a second major grounding in 2 months. Hundreds of United Airlines flights were delayed today after the airline experienced computer problems for the second time in just over a month. A White House spokesman said President Barack Obama was briefed on the glitch and that it appeared unrelated to any outage hours later at the New York Stock Exchange. There is no indication at this point either that there is malicious activity involved, said the spokesman Josh Earnest. A United spokesman said that the glitch was caused by an internal technology issue and not an outside threat or hacker. Spokeswoman Jennifer Don said that a router problem reduced network connectivity for several software applications. We fixed the router issue, which is enabling us to restore normal functions, she said, around midday. The Federal Aviation Administration lifted a ground stop order after nearly 2 hours, allowing United planes to fly again today, or I should say this morning, but delays continued while the airline fought to regain control of its schedule. United, the nation's second biggest airline, said more than 1,150 flights had been delayed and about 60 canceled by late afternoon. Wow. You know, you hope that it's not a malicious thing, so let's hopefully, it's not, right? If they say it's not, it's not. How about this? Bipartisan plan would overhaul business taxes and fund highways. Here we go. Senators unveiled a bipartisan framework today aimed at making business taxes more competitive while generating much-needed funding to repair the nation's roads and bridges. Many of the details need to be worked out and huge hurdles remain, but if successful, it would be a kind of bipartisan compromise on taxes that has long eluded Republicans and Democrats in Washington. The plan focuses on the taxes U.S. firms pay on their foreign profits. It was written by Senator Chuck Schumer, a Democrat from New York, and Senator Rob Portman, a Republican from Ohio. The framework would require U.S.-based corporations to pay a one-time tax on up to $2 trillion in foreign profits that U.S. firms have parked overseas. The tax rate has not been determined, but it would be considerably less than the 35% corporate income tax rate currently in effect, according to the plan. The tax would generate money for infrastructure improvements. Now how much would depend on the tax rate. Funding for highways is scheduled to run out at the end of this month. Going forward, the plan would allow U.S. corporations to exempt more of their foreign profits from U.S. taxes. So far, no one has suggested any decent alternative as a way to fund highways in a robust way, Schumer said in an interview. Tax reform is a difficult issue, but this may intensify the focus on it and jumpstart it just a little bit. The plan would also create a special tax rate for business profits from intellectual property, such as patents, which many U.S. firms assign to subsidiaries in low-tax countries as a way to lower their U.S. taxes. The goal is to encourage these companies to assign patents to U.S. entities, making the profits that they generate subject to U.S. taxes. You know what? Doesn't sound like too bad a deal to me if you think about it. Sounds pretty smart. It would be good for the corporations, good for the country, good for the people. Gosh, that's good for everybody. How about this? Came in 2 hours ago, the latest. Greek banks to stay closed until Monday. Yep, heard me right. Those poor people. You know, the latest on the Greek financial crisis, I'm going to tell you about it by a timeline, and all the timelines are going to be local Athens time, which is about 10 hours from our time. At 11:05 p.m., the Greek Finance Ministry says the government has extended bank closures in the country up to and including Monday, maintaining the daily withdrawal limit at €60, and that's about $66 U.S. Banks were closed and restrictions imposed on June the 29th after heavy volume of withdrawals by depositors threatened lenders with collapse. The European Central Bank has maintained its level of emergency assistance, but has demanded higher collateral after Greece's bailout program expired on July the 1st, and the country failed to cover repayments due to the International Monetary Fund. The bank closures have piled pressure on Greece's left-wing government to reach a new agreement with bailout creditors and abandon a pledge to end austerity measures following a 6-year recession. Then, at 10:45 p.m., just about 10 minutes earlier, IMF Managing Director Christine Lagarde said Greece's national debt requires restructuring for bailout programs to work. Speaking in Washington, D.C., Lagarde said Greece needs to continue cost-cutting reforms. And she added, the other leg is debt restructuring, which we believe is needed in the particular case of Greece for it to have debt sustainability. That analysis has not changed. It well may be that that numbers may have to be revisited, but our analysis has not changed. The IMF and leader Eurozone lender Germany are at odds over whether Athens should be offered debt relief, a request renewed Wednesday by Greece's government. Now, Athens is trying to negotiate a third bailout program worth an expected €50 billion. That's $55 billion. Excuse me. As it faces the risk of losing its euro membership. Wow. Things are looking tough. We expected them to look tough. I just don't understand how Greece can get away with being tough. Well, when we come back, I'm going to talk about another shutdown. The New York Stock Exchange shut down upends an already tough day for the markets. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? We're back into the news, so let's get right into it. This came in just 24 minutes ago. The New York Stock Exchange shut down upends an already tough day in the markets. Well, you can believe that for sure, right? So here's the thing. Let me tell you all about it. It was already a tough day in the market when the unexpected hit. The New York Stock Exchange halted trading late today or this morning because of technical problems. The outage, I should say, came as traders had plenty of other things to worry about. Concerns about China's plunging stock market and the logjam in talks between Greece and its creditors weighed on the mood. Major indexes were already falling before the shutdown, which occurred shortly after 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, the New York Stock Exchange resumed trading at 3:10 p.m. The exchange, in a statement late today, attributed the malfunction to a configuration issue and not as a result of hackers. A New York Stock Exchange spokeswoman would not provide further details. The broader stock market stayed open as orders to buy and sell kept flowing to the NASDAQ and other exchanges around the country. Tom Caldwell, who runs an investment firm with stakes in several exchanges, said there are some 60 exchanges and trading venues that can take orders when one goes down, so investors shouldn't get rattled. It's disruptive, but it's not wildly disruptive, said Caldwell, chairman of Caldwell Securities. President Obama was briefed on the New York Stock Exchange situation, according to Josh Earnest, the White House spokesman. Official told the president there were no malicious actors involved here. By the end of the day, the Standard & Poor's 500 index fell 34.66 points, or 1.7%, to close at 2,046.68. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 261.49 points, or 1.5%, to 17,515.42 points, and the NASDAQ slid 87.70 points, or 1.8%, to 4,909.76 points. Now, U.S. markets have been dogged by technical problems over recent years as more trading is handled by computers. In May of 2010, the Dow plunged hundreds of points in minutes in an incident that later became known as the flash crash. In March 2012, Bats Global Markets, a Kansas City company that offers stock trading services, canceled its own initial private offering after several snafus. 2 months later, a highly anticipated IPO of Facebook on the NASDAQ exchange was marred by a series of technical problems, rattling investors unsure if their orders went through. And that's just kind of, think about it. That's kind of what technology is today, isn't it? Yeah. We are so dependent on technology that we run the risk of really creating problems when it goes down. Look at what happened with United Airlines. Look at what happened with the New York Stock Exchange. What happens if it all goes down at one time? Think about it. Well, here's one. San Francisco defendants' immigration history is common. Long before he was arrested in the shooting death of a woman at one of San Francisco's most popular tourist sites, Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez was using the U.S.-Mexican border like a revolving door. He was arrested while in the United States illegally and deported to his native Mexico 5 times from June of 1994 to June of 2009, only to slip back into the country within days, weeks, or months. He served roughly 15 years in federal prison and 3 stunts for illegal reentry, completing his most recent stretch earlier this year. But his habit of sneaking across the border over and over again is not all that uncommon, and probably no one outside law enforcement would have even paid much attention to Sanchez if not for what happened after he finished his latest stunt behind bars. Last week, he was arrested and accused of killing 32-year-old Catherine Steinel as she strolled on a popular San Francisco pier with her father. It turned out that Sanchez, 45, was out on the streets because of San Francisco's sanctuary policy of minimal cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Go figure, right? Why do these departments refuse to work with each other? Why don't they just make each other better? Why don't they share? Why is there a competition in law enforcement? This makes no sense whatsoever. Who created that competition, and who's responsible for getting rid of it? Well, you know what? I think that has to start at the White House. It also has to start at the State House. You cannot have law enforcement fighting each other. How much better, how much freer, how much more secure, how much safer could we all be if law enforcement worked together instead of against each other? Give that some thought. Well, South Carolina House opens the debate over the Confederate flag. The South Carolina House opened what could be its final debate over the Confederate flag today, deliberating a proposal that might remove the banner from the Capitol grounds before the end of the week. The House is under pressure to act after the State Senate passed its own measure, which is supported by Governor Nikki Haley, but some Republicans proposed changes to the Senate bill that would preserve some kind of symbol in front of the State House to honor their Southern ancestors. Lawmakers who want to bring down the flag are fighting the proposals because any change to the Senate bill could delay by weeks or months the flag's removal, perhaps blunting momentum that has grown since 9 black churchgoers were killed last month during Bible study at a historic African-American church in Charleston. You know, the House rejected 4 amendments to the Senate bill. All of them would take down the flag. One would have planted the state flower, yellow jasmine, where the flag currently flies on a flagpole by a monument to Confederate soldiers. Another would have set up a display case of historical flags by the monument. Well, you know, it just seems to me that that's not something that should be fought over. Not anymore, anyway. Now, when we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. In this case, it's a tax lien on a pension is not valid against the beneficiary of that pension. And I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh, yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. I think probably everybody's favorite part of the show. It just gives you chills up and down your spine. Let's get right to it. The first case they lost, a tax lien on a pension is not valid against the beneficiary. Let me tell you all about this. Richard Kelly fell behind on his taxes, and as a result, the IRS put a lien on his assets, including payments from his pension plan, taking a part of each of those things. Now, Richard's son was his pension plan beneficiary, and when Richard died, the son became entitled to payments from the plan. The IRS said that its lien still applied to Richard's plan account, so it could still collect on the payments to the son. He went to court. This is what the judge said. He needed some justice here. The plan account had not been Richard's property since he couldn't sell or transfer it while alive. Thus, the lien had applied only to the money paid from the account to him as his property, and the money paid to the son is the son's property and therefore escapes the lien. Just makes sense to me, doesn't it to you? It's just the IRS trying to flex its muscles and stretch in an area that they don't belong and they shouldn't do, and it's unfair. Sometimes people in this country forget who they work for. Here's a case the IRS conceded on, and you know that my belief is the IRS only concedes when they know they can't win a case and they don't want it to become a public precedent. Let me tell you about it. The tax court can review innocent spouse determinations. This is the case. In 1998, Congress expanded the innocent spouse rules that allow one spouse to escape tax owed on a joint return that is attributable to the other. The IRS then argued that its application of the new rules could not be reviewed by the tax court. However, the court ruled otherwise, saying that it has jurisdiction over such cases and can therefore overrule the IRS. The IRS now has announced that it accepts this in cases where innocent spouse protection is sought after it assesses a tax deficiency. But The IRS further states that it still has the final word when no deficiency is assessed, as is the case when a spouse seeks a refund. You know, IRS flexing his muscles again. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be the IRS if it gets in front of a federal judge who thinks they're God, by the way. And they're just not going to win. Not going to happen. How about this? The IRS loses. A deduction that it disallowed for lack of proof is increased by the court. Now, Lionel Jones claimed a charitable deduction of $6,045 for weekly cash contributions to his two churches. But since he had no receipts or canceled checks for them, the IRS disallowed the entire deduction. Jones filed a case in tax court, and this is what the judge said, and this is the decision. Jones's testimony was credible. In addition, he presented letters from the two churches saying that he had contributed $3,735 and $4,466 to them respectively, a total of $8,201, which was more than he had actually deducted. Now, due to his credible testimony and this documentary support, his deduction was increased to this new figure. God, you gotta love this stuff. I mean, you just gotta love it. Okay, now this is where we call this inside the IRS. This is not a court case that the IRS has actually dealt with. These are actually precedents that were set down and decisions that they had made. And so that's what we're going to talk to you about here today. And in this particular case, it's how do IRS agents determine that you have not reported all of your income? Well, this is how they do it. A common method that the IRS uses to simply add up all of the deposits in your bank and brokerage accounts during the year. The presumption is that all deposits represent income unless you can establish that the money came from a gift or a loan. Now, a revenue agent will also review credit card and bank loan statements to determine if payments made during the year to reduce that balance were made from sources other than your bank accounts. But there's a trap here. The agent may want to visit your home to determine if there are new appliances or furniture and to take a look at your wardrobe. Was unreported cash used to purchase these items? Here's your safest bet. The IRS must obtain a search warrant, which never happens in a civil case, by the way. Don't give a revenue agent permission to tour your home. That is simply the case. Never, ever, ever let them inside your house. They're not trying to be friendly. Trust me. And then let me give you one more. Tax-exempt organizations and politics. We've all heard about the separation of church and state, right? Well, to enjoy the benefit of being a tax-exempt organization, for example, a religious institution or a school, an organization's prohibited from participating in or intervening in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for public office. Now, in reality, tax-exempt organizations have been actively supporting or working against certain politicians. The IRS has been under pressure from Congress to do something about this abuse. However, guidance recently issued in a revenue ruling explains that voter education is permitted as long as it's not biased. Well, you know, that's a pretty thin hair to go at here, I think. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. We're going to find out what's new in wireless technology. Don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:32 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 79 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, he's waiting in the wings, and I know he's going to be telling us all about new technology and stuff. It's our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Let's get him in here and see what's up. New and exciting in the world of wireless technology and those wireless service companies that we deal with every day. It seems to be every day a new surprise that comes from your briefcase to our airwaves.
Wow, well, it's good to be back. Sounds like I came in on a spaceship today. I want to thank you for that intro.
You're welcome.
Anyhow, last week I was a little bit nuts. End of the month, T-Mobile had me jumping through hoops. They had those two promotions that were ending June 31st, and obviously they extended them another 2 weeks, so we didn't have to jump through hoops. But those bear mentioning, that was two deals. One was $100 for 2 lines, unlimited voice, text, and unlimited 4G data with no throttling. That's hard to find at any price, let alone $100 for 2 lines. And I suspect that's why it's going away. Anybody who has that will be able to keep it, but I won't be able to offer that after the 14th. So the other one is 4 lines for $100. Also unlimited voice, unlimited text. This one is unlimited 2G data, and they give you 10 gigabytes of 4G, which you can share amongst the 4 lines. Incredible deal for $100. I normally don't like these tiered plans, but at least you're going to be throttled, meaning they're going to beat the heck out of you instead of charge you money at the end of the month. Actually, they're going to slow you down.
Well, let me ask you. Let me interrupt you for just a second, Joel, because it just seems to me that we can, as long as we've been talking about all these things, that you were always at the whim of the service provider, because all they have to simply do is say we're changing it for everybody, and your whole plan changes whether you got an old plan or not.
Robert, that is a great point, and that's exactly why when these carriers change their plans all the time, I don't know, you heard recently we talked about Sprint going with this all-in plan and changing it. It used to be $50, and then you either leased or you're financed, or you provided your phone, and it was $50 unlimited data on their lease deal. I think it was $60 if you financed it or provided your own. Now it's a flat $80, and that includes the lease deal. But they changed the plan a little bit, and they were caught on it. We had talked about this. They had put in a clause in the fine print that at their discretion they would slow you down to 600 kilobits per second, if the network mandated, if the network was a little busy. Well, you pay for an unlimited plan, it's not unlimited if they're slowing you down at their, discretion.
Yeah, I mean, so unlimited to me means I get the full benefit for as long and as much as I want to use it.
Right. So traditionally what's happened in this industry is even if you fulfill your contract and it goes month to month, generally the carriers are not going to anger you by taking away anything. They're going to let you keep what you used to have, and you just revert to month, and if you're not asking for anything, they don't want to give you anything. They're happy that you continue to pay. Yeah. And this is the smart way of doing it. And I go back, as you know, I remember the old days when AT&T, actually I think it was Singular, used to give you free nights and weekends. And what would happen is after your 2-year contract, your nights and weekends went away. Well, you're used to using a lot of them. You'd get a bill for another $120 higher than your normal bill and hit the roof.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they would graciously when you called them to scream at them, they'd say, "Oh, well, your contract ended, Mr. Cardoza. We'll be more than happy to waive that fee if you re-sign for another 2 years."
I can remember everybody saying, "Hey, I'm going to give you a call on Monday night or Wednesday night or Saturday night or Sunday night. I'm going to call you after 5 or I'm going to call you on the weekend because it's a free call."
Exactly. And it would be a free call until your contract ended, and then they started charging you the per minute cost of something that you thought was free. And they didn't realize people don't like to get angry. Even if it's going to get waived ultimately, why blow a gasket or have a heart attack because you got a big bill? So now the carriers grandfather you, and they generally will let you keep what you have. If you're on an unlimited plan, it generally stays unlimited. The trick is they want you to sign for a new plan, and they may call it unlimited, but this is where you really have to read the fine print.
Well, did you see the ads that I just saw? For the first time, it's probably been out for a while, but I just noticed it today, Joel. Verizon is saying, "Hey, we want you to come back, and we'll give you $300 if you do."
$300, of course. Why do you think they might be doing that?
Because they stepped in it, right?
People to T-Mobile and Sprint, because T-Mobile and Sprint are willing to eat the contract. They're willing to pay up to $350 per line early termination fee and give you a trade-in value and lease or finance a phone for you and give you service at a fraction of the cost. The big campaign for Verizon was "Don't Settle," and T-Mobile turned it around as "Don't Settle." So it's pretty humorous back and forth, and it's always going to be this way. But what can you do? Anyhow, more on AT&T. I don't know if you heard about this. AT&T is trying to merge with DirecTV, and they offered to give, I guess the FCC required this. I think it's ridiculous, but they offered to give free DSL, to, low-income people as a condition for this deal to go through. And I'm thinking, DSL? I mean, why don't they give them a free fax line? This is such obsolete technology. I think the speeds they're talking about are 3 megabits per second. And, I mean, that's mighty magnanimous to give them that. 5 years ago, that would have been quite a deal. And,
the sad thing is they could give them almost anything they want to give them. They wouldn't feel it. They wouldn't see it. It would probably just be the right thing to do in today's day and age.
Yeah, well, I would offer, maybe 10 megabit, minimum, and I think that'd be fair. They got to do something, obviously.
Well, you know what? I mean, isn't it ridiculous that even in schools today, and I don't care whether we're talking about preschools or grammar schools or grade or high school or college, You know what? We should require all of the providers to provide those institutions free services for the uses of the students because it's so important to the future of the world that all students are conversant with all of these technologies.
And exactly. And there's a correlation with the reason that South Korea right now is doing so good on an economic level, a business level. It's crazy, but when you look at it, they have the fastest internet speeds in the world. And I think there's a correlation with internet speeds and internet availability to the public, and we are, painfully slow, with this.
Why is that? Why is that, Joel? How can North Korea or South Korea provide that kind of service and the United States can't or won't?
Well, eventually maybe we will. We'll have to see what happens. Here's an interesting one. You ever, I don't know if you have Facebook, but every now and then, you notice, you have X amount of friends, and then all of a sudden you're 4 friends less. And a lot of people wonder, who unfriended me. Mm-hmm. Now there's a free new iPhone and Android app that'll tell you exactly who unfriended you and why they unfriended you. Meaning, if they went off Facebook or just decided you no longer rated to be a friend anymore.
Is that strictly on Facebook? I have I actually have a program that I've been using for a long, long time, and I'm looking for it right now. And of course, I can't find it because I'm in a rush to try and find this doggone thing. Right? Oh, there it is. It's called Tweet Sponge, but it's really for Twitter, not for Facebook. And it works the same way. And what it does, it tells me all the new people that have friended me and who they are and that kind of stuff.
People have dropped off.
Probably. And it tells me who dropped off, and it tells me who I'm a friend with that's not a friend with me, and I can make those adjustments. Is that the same thing that's going to happen now with Facebook?
Yes, I think it may be called Who Deleted Me. I have it on our actual Facebook page, Facebook/DR Wireless. So I have this here. Anybody who wants to download it, I have not tried it. It will not show you who you've lost in the past. It'll just show you, who you've lost and who you've, any changes. It'll show you missing friends, deactivated friends, new friends, who's deleted since your last visit, who's deactivated since your last visit, who's new since your last visit. Interesting stuff. I think that's going to go over, probably pretty well because there's a lot of Facebook people.
Will it also allow you to interact with Facebook where if somebody has dropped you, you can drop them as well with the touch of a button like this Tweet Sponge does?
Probably. I will have to get into it a little bit more. It's a browser extension, so I think so, but I'd have to get into it more. I haven't used it.
Is it available, you think, through the iPhone store? Or not the iPhone store, but iTunes.
Yes. iTunes and Android store both have it.
No, I'm gonna download it and give it a try because I love it for Twitter. So I'm sure I'd love it for Facebook too. Twitter, I've got a few thousand followers. It just makes it easier to manage that. And if I could do the same thing with Facebook, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's worth a try. I believe it's Who Deleted Me, but if you don't find it, I have it on our Facebook page. You can download it directly.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And then there's another issue that you got to be concerned about. There is a hacking group that discovered, actually it's Tel Aviv University, and they call it PETA, is the name of the group. And I think it was personal information. God, I'm going to have to remember what the acronym stood for. I can't recall right now. Anyhow, the Tel Aviv University discovered they built a $300 gadget that can steal encryption keys right out of the air, and currently it's nearly unstoppable.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, that's nuts.
$300 device, can pick up any, I don't know about any, but they're saying, most encryption keys, and that's a little bit frightening.
Banks got to hate this. And people got to. Oh, you want to say? What am I saying? Banks. People got to hate this.
Oh, this is terrible. So there's really no way, I don't think, of blocking it at this point. And I'm sure the companies are,
This was
in
created.
gear.
This was created for crooks.
It sure looks like it. But I guess a better Israel discovered it than ISIS. I guess PETA is Portable Instrument for Trace Acquisition. That's what PETA stands for.
Wow.
But it was researchers at Tel Aviv who discovered this. And it's a hacking tool that can steal encryption keys right out of the air.
Wow.
So, anyhow, just another thing to worry about, I suppose.
Well, you know what? It just seems like the more technology that comes out and the more dependent upon technology that we all become, the more we have to be aware of the people that take advantage of that technology to hurt us, rob us, and make us unstable.
Better we discover it first, the good guys.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Microsoft, don't know if you heard about them, but they had bought Nokia for, I want to say, $7.2 million about a year ago. They just wrote off $7.6 billion. Sorry.
Yeah, and you know what? On their phone side, they're laying off. You know what? I want to say it was 2,800 people or 7,800 people. I forget what it is.
7,800.
How many?
7,800 jobs cut.
Is that amazing?
That is a lot of people going to be looking for work. And the handwriting was probably on the wall because a few weeks ago, Stephen Elop left. He was the former Nokia CEO. The former head of phones for Nokia, Joe Harlow, also left. So it wasn't a big surprise.
Yeah. You know what? Kind of a surprise for Microsoft. I mean, you don't think in terms of Microsoft having to go through these a business cut like this.
Well, Android, and Windows are beating the heck out of them.
Yeah. But
we have more information, on our Facebook page, Facebook/Dr. Wireless, and in our blog, drwireless.com/blog regarding all of this.
Well, we'll be right back with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, with more, I don't know if I should call it exciting news or depressing news, but it'll be news, and you're going to want to hear it. Good or bad, you need to hear it to know what to do with it. So we'll be right back with Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, after these brief messages. Do not go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, who has been giving us some good and mostly some bad news today. Although I'll tell you what, this Who Deleted Me, I think is a fantastic. I'm going to download that as soon as I'm off the air.
Well, I'm going to give you a little more bad news so we can finish up with just good news. I'm tired of bad news.
Okay.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm done with it too. Matter of fact, let's have the last of the bad news here, okay?
All right, here it comes. We got a new hacker cartel, and they're not from Israel, Tel Aviv University. This one is Wild Neutrino. Where do they get these names? I don't know. But Wild Neutrino is a hacker cartel using a mysterious flash vulnerability, and they're stealing sensitive business data. So Adobe right now is concerned, obviously, and they're working on this. I don't know if you're like me, but every darn morning I have some Adobe Flash update on my computer. Do you want to do this update, yes or no?
I got that.
And it's...
I get that. I have these programs, driver boosters and stuff like that, and every so often, not every morning, but I'll tell you what, a number of times, I think, at least two or three times a month, I do get an Adobe update.
Exactly, and the problem is, these are normal routine upgrades, and if a hacker slides one in there that looks like it's coming from Adobe, it'd be very easy to fool a lot of people. I always right-click everything to make sure it's coming from where it says it's coming from. But be advised, if you see any flash downloads, just be careful who it's coming from.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, other bad news, real quickly, and I'll try to end it with this. Facebook's got a massive problem with video theft. If you have any content that you don't want stolen, don't put it on Facebook. Apparently, a lot of the Facebook, really successful video uploaders rely on stolen content to attract people, and rise to the top of the news feed. So,
as long as
they get popular at your expense.
As long as I've got you on the line, I had over the weekend, I had this person who was following me on Facebook and said that she wanted me to drop her because every time she would open up my Facebook thing, she'd get an advertisement for Ray-Ban sunglasses. And I said, what? And actually what it was somebody else that had friended me. And every time somebody would click on that thing, an advertisement for Ray-Ban sunglasses would come on. I had the toughest time getting rid of it. When I finally found out who it was, I just deleted that person, and that was the end of it. But boy, it's tough to get rid of these unwanted friends.
It's quite amazing. I get people, and I'm not popular. I've got friends that have, thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of friends. They have to have multiple pages. I certainly don't have that, but I do get people all the time that want to befriend me, and, if they have mutual friends, it's no problem. But when somebody wants to befriend me and I look them up, and you can tell sometimes it's shaky stuff, sometimes they're porn stars, or, there's all kinds of weird stuff going on. But, I recommend, people clone people's pages. So I always tell people, be very careful who you befriend with Facebook, because there's a lot of crazy people out there that are going to use Facebook, to get to your friends. So I always tell people, consider that before you befriend people you don't know. You know what? And then before we move on, and that's good advice, can you give that Facebook account one more time to where we can get this who delivered me or who deleted me, because it doesn't come up when I try to get it. Yeah, if you go to Facebook/DR Wireless, which is our Facebook page. I'm going to go there right now as we're speaking. Okay, got it. No period, no nothing. Just Facebook/DR Wireless. Yeah, DR Wireless /Facebook, and you should see like a surfing picture. And actually, let's see here. And if you scroll down, you'll see a little ways down. You'll see information about the. There's something. You know what? While I'm thinking about it, there was another free app I found called Card. Don't know if you've ever used this. It wasn't free until this week, until yesterday. What is it? It used to be like $1.99. I didn't take it for $1.99, but for free I took it, and it's pretty cool. It lets you take a picture of business cards, and it scans them automatically and puts them, in a special contact list. Oh, that sounds good. So, and that one is called Cam Card. You can take that off the iPhone store. And the other interesting thing is this. It looks like this iPhone 6S and 6 Plus S are definitely, for real. Apple just placed an order for 85 to 90 million units from their Asian suppliers. Wow. So I think we're going to see these devices in September. Also looks like that that Force Touch feature that they have on the smartphones is also going to be incorporated on these new phones, where you just press down on the screen to change the functionality. And then did you download iOS 8.4? Yeah. 8.4? Yeah. Okay, I just did as well. Have you noticed anything? Yeah, it changed the music is the only thing that I already noticed, and I had to get it changes these things, and it doesn't tell you how the heck to deal with it. But it turns out that it's a lot better format. All I've noticed so much is really the music. Have you noticed something else? Well, no, I just downloaded it today. I always wait a week, and then I do my Google search, for problems with iOS 8.4, just to make sure that, people that, when you see 20 people with the same problem, I lost my contacts, it's probably not a good idea to download it immediately. So didn't see any problems, downloaded it today. All I know is it's really about Apple Music. I don't deal with Apple Music. I mean, I have iTunes, my own collection of music, but, I've got this Amazon Music, this Amazon Prime deal, which is amazing. I don't know if you've tried their music and their video and shipping and all that, but... Well, I use the Amazon, but I also use I have just hundreds and hundreds of songs and music and stuff that I've over the time, and what I do is I actually go for a strenuous 3-mile walk every day, Monday through Friday. And I'll put the earbuds in my ear, and I'll have it just kind of shuffle the tunes, so I hear a variety of different tunes and artists and things as I'm walking along, and I enjoy that. This new program, I thought I was going to lose that ability, but it's actually allows you to pinpoint the different types of music and the different playlists that you created, and much easier, and it's really pretty cool. Well, the good thing about listening to iTunes versus, cloud-based music is obviously when you get in areas where there's bad coverage, the airport tunnel by LAX, there's lots of places where you seem to lose coverage, and it's annoying. Have you noticed whether you lose coverage, if you're on iTunes. I think it happens on iTunes also. I know it happens on the cloud stuff. When you're listening to a song and somebody leaves you a message, like a notification comes through, does it kind of mute your music for a second?
Yes, that does happen.
Always during my favorite songs. I don't know if you noticed that.
Well, since all my favorite songs are the only songs that I have on this thing, it's always during my favorite songs as well.
Interesting. And then one last thing that I just wanted to bring up that nobody thinks about, including myself, and I read an interesting article and I realized, this is a big, big problem. How often do you travel and rent a car?
Well, whenever I travel, I always rent a car.
Okay, and how often do you, out of convenience and out of safety, because many states mandate you must do this, download, your Bluetooth so you can use? In other words, how often do you pair your phone with a rental car that has Bluetooth built into it?
I have never done it.
Okay, you are smart. I do it quite a bit. And the problem is a lot of these cars take more information than they indicate. In other words, when you pair a phone, generally you're taking information from both devices and matching it up. You put in the right password. It's usually 4 zeros, and then press OK. It pairs. A lot of times your whole contact list is downloaded into the rental car in this case, or other data. So, if for anybody who's going to use a rental car and use the Bluetooth, a lot of times you'll be prompted, do you want to download data? Definitely don't download your contacts.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Use the Bluetooth, but do not download contacts out of convenience unless you plan on erasing it, and most people wouldn't even know how to do that.
Yeah, you know what I have? Because there's only two reasons I would do that. Now, generally I use Hertz, and I use their locator system, their GPS system. And even though I could use my phone, I prefer to use their system. The only thing that I might like to do is to hear my own music, because you're in a strange area, you don't know what's going on. But I bought this little gizmo that is a Bluetooth gizmo that I turn it on, and it's proprietary between me and my phone. And my phone Bluetooth goes to that, and that actually goes to a radio station that is not an active radio station, and so it plays my music right through the car stereo.
So you're using like 88.9, or
yeah.
You're using a special radio frequency to play it.
Yeah.
Not the most high-fidelity solution, but it works, and it's probably more secure than a lot of other options.
Yeah,
because
and I haven't really noticed. I mean, I like it. It gives me the control, and I haven't heard. I haven't got that good an ear for the high fidelity or the stereo anyway. So I'm just wanting to hear the tune.
Well, probably a good thing. And lastly, I don't think we have a lot of time. I just wanted to mention that this iOS 8.4 already has like 41% of all iOS devices, have downloaded it. So I guess I was one of the last. I must have been number 41 as far as this 41%.
Yeah.
But big adoption in this, and I think, they're speculating that, there was a few improvements to iBooks, and, but they say the major change is Apple Music, the first subscription-based music streaming service, from Apple. Mm-hmm. So obviously they want to get that off the ground. We know Verizon's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Jay-Z's doing it. We're going to see a lot of this. But anyhow, anybody who has any questions regarding this, anybody who needs wireless services and wants to do it right the first time, can contact me, Joel, at drwireless.com. You can visit our site, www.drwireless.com, Facebook.com/drwireless, and we also have a lot of information on our blog as well.
Okay, hey, a great segment, Joel. I appreciate it very much. I look forward to talking to you next week for another installment of our own Dr. Wireless. Joel, have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week.
I promise I'll bring you some good news next week, Robert.
Looking forward to it. Bye-bye.
Take care.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this. The Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:07 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 78 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? He's waiting in the wings, so let's get him in here, find out what he's got to say. I know he's got something something to report, interesting things. We'll be right back with him in just a second.
Bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye and singing, this'll be the day that I die.
And now, from the National Archives of Public Planning, located in the basement of his Long Beach Reference Library, the unappreciated but widely acknowledged expert on past, present, and future infrastructure planning, let's welcome Mr. Ray Mailer and his American Grid.
Did I happen to mention to you how very old and feeble that I am?
No, you've not mentioned just how old and feeble you are, although I'd never used the word feeble to describe you.
Well, you know what? No one else would, but my heart is going pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. You're the first guy that's only got up to about 30 seconds to airtime, and I hadn't heard from you other than over emails and texts.
Well, I do apologize. I don't mean to cause the coronary. Believe it or not, I was having some technical difficulties getting through. I guess United Airlines and New York Stock Exchange also experienced similar difficulties today. But unlike them, I actually.
So was it my end that was the problem?
30 seconds to spare.
Was it my end that was the problem?
No. It's a long, sordid story. So.
Okay. Well, I've already gone through United, and I've gone through the New York Stock Exchange. What I want to hear about, if there is any, is some good news about the Federal Highway Fund running low, the 710 gap update, and major infrastructure approved by the California Water Bond. I saw in the news today that Lake Mead is down 60%. It's only about 40% of its available water left for us.
Yeah, that's right. And, those straws off to the side that are feeding Las Vegas, they must be, kind of like that.
Yeah. No doubt about that. I mean, now they're actually digging a tunnel down deeper since the water level's so low so that they can access the lower water because they're pretty soon they can't access the water that's already there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that bottom straw is going to be perhaps already is the one that everybody's counting on. So, if you want to talk about some good news, I thought we would spend a bit of time talking about some new facilities that we authorized here in California.
Yeah.
And because California is somewhat dependent upon Lake Mead. Let's dig right in, because if it turns out we need to share more with Vegas or Phoenix, maybe we're helping ourselves out. You may recall last November we approved a new water bond, Proposition 1. It was a $7.5 billion authorization, $2.7 billion of which was intended to increase water storage capacity. And thought I'd take a look at, there are several sites that are under consideration. There are 3 existing reservoirs that are considered for expansion, and that would be Lake Shasta, the Los Vaqueros Reservoir, and the San Luis Reservoir. And then 2 new dams are possible as well, one called Sites, that's about 80 miles north of Sacramento.
But the bad news is there's no dam water in these new dams yet, right?
That's right. There is no dam water in the new dams because the dam isn't there yet. I hope my daughter isn't listening, or if she is, I hope she had a good laugh.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know what? Now, Annalisa is in what grade?
She is an incoming freshman.
Okay, let me tell you, my friend, she's heard a lot worse than that. She just hasn't told you about it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, hopefully it's just going in one ear and out the other, and she doesn't need to repeat it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? She's a smart gal. She knows what to ignore and what not to ignore.
You're absolutely right. I am impressed from time to time, as I imagine many parents are when they see their kids.
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of dams, or darn dams, what the bond that we authorized could conceivably allow for construction of 2 new dams, the Sites Dam and the Temperance Flat one. So, so there'd be some additional resource available in about halfway between Sacramento and Red Bluff, and more northeast of Fresno. So that's that's good news, as well as there should be enough funding to construct a peripheral canal. So, and that is one way to. I'm sure you've heard that we're allowing a good amount of fresh water just to flow into the San Francisco Bay, simply to give the Delta smelt a better environment in which to live.
No, I hadn't heard. I hadn't heard that, but I'm wondering why the Delta smelt is more important than the California citizens.
Yeah, very fair question, and I'm not going to go there.
Has anyone asked that question?
Yeah, I usually rate humans higher than animals or fish,
yeah.
In as much as they sometimes wind up on my plate. So, and just so much of most people's ethics are the humans are pretty important. So yeah, it's a little. I understand some of the motivations to try to minimize our impact, but Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just a cost issue. If we really, really were out of water and people did not have enough to drink, or there was not enough water for food to grow, perhaps that's the point at which we let human considerations exceed those of the Delta smelt.
Of course. Let me just kind of interrupt you for a minute, because I know it's not something that you want to talk about or plan to talk about. But you know what? I was thinking in terms of Lake Mead being at 40% of where it should be, and I think that's probably conducive of all the dams that we have, or maybe the rest of the dams in California are even worse off than that. And you and I have talked about this El Nino effect that we're hoping and praying will take effect this coming year for our winter rains and storms. Mm-hmm. Can an excessive rain fall in California and let's call it Nevada as well, Arizona, Nevada, California? Can that refill our water reserves to a point where we don't have to be as worried about it as we are today?
Well, from what I understand, if we have a good winter, meaning an above-average amount of rainfall and snowfall, that starts to refill our reservoirs. But I understand that we need to have 2, 3, maybe 4 years in a row, depending on just how much precipitation comes.
And then does that just fill the reservoirs, or does it get the aquifers as well?
Both. It kind of depends. The water system has some complexity. So, where it rains or snows, where there are natural aquifers, those will be replenished, in proportion to the amount of rain or snow that falls. But then we also do a fair amount of pumping into reservoirs from elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Basically, the complex water system, tries to redistribute the water to where it's needed. Some of those aquifers are going to refill naturally. Some of them are going to need some human help, or actually will receive human help because they're in a desirable location.
Well, that answers my question, and it makes sense. It's just a scary thing that if we need 3 or 4 years to get back to safety, what are the chances we're going to get 3 or 4 years?
It does happen, or certainly over the 130 years or so that we've been tracking this pretty carefully. It does happen where we'll have 3-4 years in a row. Kind of given our past history, I bet we're not too confident that's going to happen. But just look at the trends, or look at the averages over the years, and we will have multiple wet years in a row. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. But if not, we do have a decently robust water system already, where we're drawing from several points in the Sierras, from our groundwater and from Colorado River water. That leads to, a robust population, a pretty robust economy. We should be in good shape for a good period of time. We may have more increasingly difficult questions to try to answer.
Okay, and I've got one more for you, and then I'm going to let you do what you prepared for. And that is you announced here a week or two ago that we should all be proud California actually lowered its water usage by 29%. And that was for May. Has the number come in for June yet?
I've not seen the number for June yet, and I suspect it takes about 3 or so weeks for the state water agency to calculate that, because we only found out about May about a week and a half ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
that makes sense. I love it when you're on because I can ask you all kinds of questions. Generally, you have the answers. You're disappointing me here today because you've only had 50% of the answers right.
Well, hopefully you're going to grade me on a curve.
Well, on a curve, you're the top scorer, pal.
Oh, thanks.
So listen, we gotta go on a commercial break. What are you going to talk about when we come back?
Well, when we come back, I have an update about the 710 gap, which was good news, and some bad news about the Federal Highway Trust Fund.
Okay, so you know what? We'll come back after these brief commercial messages with our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. Don't go away. You don't want to miss this. He's got good news, and he's got some bad news. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Ray Mailer and his American Grid. He's got good news, he's got bad news, but he's got news, and you need to hear it so that you can be prepared for what's going to happen. Ray, you've got the microphone, my friend. Ray?
Yep.
You got the microphone, buddy.
Well, thanks, Bob. Just one more technical gremlin out there. But sorry for the little gap. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, maybe we'll cover the bad news first about the Federal Highway Trust Fund. But we've talked about this on occasion in previous shows, and I thought I'd check in and see just how things are coming along in this fiscal year. And the Federal Department of Transportation is forecasting that we are going to run out of money in the first week of September. And wanted to ask you,
how is that possible?
So I think we're going to have, once again, a little end-of-summer drama in the Congress to figure out what we're going to do with the Highway Trust Fund. Wanted to ask you if you had an idea how much money was in the Highway Trust Fund at the start of the fiscal year. That would be October 1st of 2014.
I don't have a clue. I'm guessing that because it has something to do with legislators, that they figure that as long as there's checks in the book, there's money in the bank.
Yeah, it's that seems to be what the legislators are thinking. It was already down to $9.2 billion. I think typically they've been trying to keep it around in the mid-30s.
What is the annual? What is the annual amount of expenditures that they pull out of that trust fund?
Well, the trust fund's intended for maintenance and operations of federal highways, and I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the $35 billion range.
So they replenish it every year as a budgetary item.
It's not so much a budget authorization as they get receipts from the gasoline taxes and then promptly spend it out. Basically, the feds are in a position of allocating it to the departments of transportation in each state to maintain the respective interstate highways.
Well, we ought to get the Congress to talk to the California legislature and get their heads together. The two of them together can't do any worse than each of them independent of each other with the kind of a program that you were just talking about last week. Exactly. Well, anyway, for those who are kind of on the spending side or funding side of these highway projects, what seems to happen is if Congress can't get a way to inject some more cash into the trust fund, that the Federal Department of Transportation is going to start implementing cash management procedures, and they're basically just going to pay out various reimbursements on a cash available basis. Oh, sounds like Greece.
It is looking a little bit like that. Maybe instead of the California and congressional legislatures talking together, maybe you ought to all just fly to Greece and find out how they do.
You know what? No, I don't think so. Not right now. I think if I couldn't be right where I'm at, I'd probably go to Germany.
It seems to be where the money's at.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm watching all of the financial markets today. I'm seeing what's the Chinese board is down 43%. Their infrastructure is down horribly. They haven't got any money growing. They keep feeding the infrastructure. They have whole cities that are vacant. The Chinese have built whole cities to put people to work, and they've got nobody to live in the cities.
Wow.
Anyway, that's not what you wanted to talk about.
No, but I wish I had dug into this a little bit. Maybe that's a good subject for next week's show.
Yeah.
Well, that's remarkable. I mean, just imagine if something like that were to happen here. Say we built a freeway and nobody drove it, or maybe a bridge to nowhere in Alaska. Maybe it's along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyway, here's another little interesting tidbit while I was taking a look at highway transportation. I mentioned last week that at least in the state, gas tax revenues were increasing slightly this year because of increased economic activity. Mm-hmm. Well, this is also reflected at the federal level. How many miles in the nation have Americans driven in the first 4 months of this year?
I have not a clue.
Well, do you think it's in the millions or the billions?
Oh, it's got to be billions because it can't be millions. Hell, we got 320 million people, for Pete's sake.
That's right. I guess if they each drove 3 miles, we nearly are at 1 trillion miles.
Wow.
The first 4 months, we drove 1 trillion miles. And the last time we drove at that clip was in the same period was in 2007, which you may recall was when our economy was going gangbusters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how are they able to drive that many miles and avoid all those potholes?
We're all getting pretty skillful. Quick left, quick right, serpentine.
You need to make sure that you not only have a driver, but you need to have a co-driver so that somebody's looking for the potholes while the other person's looking for the accelerator.
Yeah, that's right. All drivers need co-pilots now. All right.
All right, so that was the bad news.
Yeah, that was the bad news. Okay, so better news is here in the LA area, we have a big new highway project called the 710 Gap. And we've been studying it for the past few years. For folks from outside the area, you might recognize that if you're anywhere in the south of the metropolitan LA area, Orange County, southern LA County, eastern LA County, it's a little bit tough to get to a place like Pasadena. So if you were trying to get to the Rose Bowl, and that's because for the last nearly 50 years, we have not completed the final 5 miles of the 710 freeway. And so for the last several years, Metro and Caltrans have been studying how we might solve this problem. Well, about 4 months ago, we released the environmental studies for public comment. And that's kind of a big milestone to have the reports sufficiently assembled that the agencies feel like, okay, we're ready for public comment. Well, I'm pleased to report that public comment period ended on Monday, July 6th, just a couple of days ago. So we're now, the agencies now is going to evaluate all these public comments and provide responses. I must mention, having observed it, agencies are usually very meticulous about these responses to public comments, and do occasionally make changes on the basis of what the public is saying. So, this is good progress. And apparently, sometime in 2016, the agencies intend to try to come to a conclusion to figure out what solution we're going to use to finish or enable transportation from this broken section of the 710. And just to review, we're looking at something called bus rapid transit, which is some pretty speedy and efficient bus service. Light rail transit, which would be a kind of a train alternative. Transportation system management and transportation demand management, basically making our street lights really smart to help surface street traffic move as best as possible. And then I think the one that many drivers hope for is the freeway tunnel. And this is the tunnel that'll start in Alhambra, go beneath the rest of Alhambra and all of South Pasadena, and come back to the surface in Pasadena.
You mean that, or for real tunnel?
A real tunnel.
That's got to be a long. That's got to be a long tunnel.
Yeah, it'll be nearly 5 miles.
Wow.
Yeah. Part of the reason, if folks are wondering, why a tunnel, one of the things that's happened in the last 20 years is that tunnel technologies have improved to the point that it's become more cost effective. 50 years ago, the prospect of constructing a tunnel would have been, just not even considered. It would just cost way too much.
So here's the
compared
thing:
to the surface.
They can dig that tunnel, and it'll be just fine. Now, if we get our water back, are they going to flood the tunnel?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Believe it or not, water management does become an issue with tunnels. We need to prevent flooding. I don't think it'll be bad as, say, tunnels that go underneath rivers or English channels or things like that. So, my brother used to live in Jersey City, so he was a regular traveler in the Holland Tunnel, and years of living there kind of revealed that they have regular significant leakage issues.
That's a scary
the Holland
thought.
Tunnel as it goes beneath.
That's a
As
scary
it goes
thought.
beneath the Hudson River.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. There's a lot of things beneath the Hudson River.
Yeah, but don't tell me Jimmy Hoffa is there.
Nah, he's a cornerstone somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's still somewhere in the foundation of the Pontiac Silverdome. I think
Yeah.
that's the speculation. Well, while I was doing water research, I picked up on some interesting history. And just quickly here, as California residents approached the start of the 20th century, a lot of people started moving here for the mild climate, the abundant natural resources, and the scenic beauty. But then they realized, hold it, but we don't have a reliable water supply, and that is the missing piece to wonderful living in California. Yeah, we have extended dry periods that makes farming difficult, and occasional catastrophic flooding. So folks realized, even in the early 20th century, the state had plenty of water, just not in the steady way that supported farming and creation of cities. So the state recognized by the 1930s it needed to manage the water and conceived what's called the Central Valley Plan in response. And the legislature and the voters approved revenue bonds in 1933, but the state couldn't sell them because of the Depression. However, the feds could, and so the Federal Bureau of Reclamation started our first major water management projects. You might know about the Shasta Dam that was completed in 1945. There's the Contra Costa Canal that started delivering water in 1940, and Congress proceeded to authorize 13 more projects into the 1970s. But then the state, has its own post-war boom and takes another look at its water needs in the 50s and set up the state's first water bond, Proposition 1, for referendum in 1960. And by the way, this thing passed just by the skin of its teeth. Fewer than 3% of the voters, or it was a victory by less than 3%.
Wow.
But at the state level, we constructed many dams and a big aqueduct, and you might recognize a lot of these names. The Oroville Dam, the Upper Feather River Dam, San Luis Reservoir. There's the North Bay and the South Bay aqueducts. The California Aqueduct, that's the one that you and I think or rely upon. That extends from the Bay Delta area to the Inland Empire. Pyramid Lake, Castaic Lake, Lake Paris, and this bond also proposed construction of a peripheral canal, which is something that we're hoping will be able to be constructed with the more recent Proposition 1. So those are a little bit of water history here in California. It's that really the feds came in when we couldn't afford to do it ourselves, and then when we could, we got pretty aggressive in constructing quite a few water resources.
Well, would you agree that we need to become aggressive once again?
I do agree, definitely. Between the current drought, our continued growth, and issues in other western states, definitely. We need to get a little bit more self-reliant, build it ourselves, and make it happen.
Well, you know what? As usual, Ray, this was a phenomenal segment. You come in and educate us, and I think it's wonderful. Some of the news is not such good news, but other news you gave us is actually fascinating. That 710 shortfall that's going to be made up. And that's a fascinating thing. That's going to really help the public. So, in any event, you have a wonderful evening, my friend. Have a safe trip home. Don't forget to give that lovely wife and daughter of yours a hug and a kiss from me, will you?
I'll be sure to do that. Thanks, Bob.
All right. Hey, Ray, thanks again. Hope you work out all of those technical problems you're having.
Yes, I hope so, too.
All right, buddy. Good night.
Good night.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And I want you to know that at 5:41 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 78 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is? Sure you do. It's July 8th, and it's somebody's birthday. And you know what? He was born in 1933, died in 1982, an English writer, comedian, and actor, notable for bulging eyes, the result of a thyroid condition known as Graves' disease. Happy birthday, Marty Feldman. And here's a guy that we all know, born in 1949, an Austrian celebrity chef, restaurateur, and businessman. Happy birthday, Wolfgang Puck. And then Here's somebody at least all the girls know. He was born in 1958, an actor who frequently plays anti-heroic protagonists. It's a happy birthday to Kevin Bacon. And then finally, this guy was born in 1970, a musician, songwriter, and singer known as Beck. Now, I got to tell you, I don't know who he is, but happy birthday, Beck. And you know what happened today on July the 8th and today in history? Well, I can tell you that in 1776, the Declaration of Independence is read aloud in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the Liberty Bell was famously rung. That's when it got its crack, folks. And in 1932, the Dow Jones Industrial Average reaches its lowest level of the Great Depression, bottoming out at 41.22 points. Wow. And in 1999, Alan Lee Davis is executed by electrocution by the state of Florida, the last use of the electric chair for capital punishment in Florida. And here's one for you. Our quote for the day comes from President Abraham Lincoln, and he says, "Most folks are about as happy as they make up their minds to be." Now, we're going to be talking about a positive mental attitude, and we're going to do it right now. We're going to talk about the secret daily teachings of your life, or for your life, and it's all about a positive mental attitude. Well, Honest Abe knew about it. How about you? Let me give you the secret today. If you're rushing or hurrying, know that those thoughts and actions are based in fear of being late, and you are fixing up bad things ahead of you. As you continue to rush, you'll attract bad things ahead for you. As you continue to rush, you'll attract one bad thing after another into our path. In addition to that, the law of attraction is fixing up more future circumstances that will cause you to rush and hurry. You must stop and move yourself off that frequency. Take a few moments and shift yourself if you don't want to summon bad things to yourself. Keep it in mind. It's not under somebody else's control. It's totally under your control. Now, let's talk about that Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is help an employee build confidence. You know, employees who lack confidence can be hard to coach, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Helping a talented employee shed his insecurities sets him up to achieve what he's capable of. But it won't help to call out his low self-esteem or to simply pay him compliments. Instead, you have to help him own a compliment. Instead of giving broad praise like, "You're really good at your job," focus on something specific that he's done well. Then help him to see his strengths. Ask, "What does that compliment mean to you? Why do you think I'm choosing to give it to you?" You can also help someone own a compliment given by someone else. For example, you might say, "I heard John tell you that you did a good job with that quarterly report. Why do you think he said that? What do you think he was particularly impressed with?" Yeah, help him own it. Doesn't that make sense? Then you're doing something good. Well, let's talk about those interesting but useless facts. We've got a number of them. Let's get into them right here today. And first off, let's talk about the name for the middle part of the nose, the part that separates the nostrils, that little guy down there, is called the chafouinet. Oh, well, who cares? Did you know that adults produce between 200 milliliters and 2 liters, that's like quarts, of fart per day? No, it probably doesn't weigh much, so it's not going to help you to get rid of it. Anyway, do you know Americans eat more bananas than any other fruit? A total of 11 billion bananas a year. Billion, that's with a B. That's a lot of banana splits. Or bananas, I should say. You know, in 1789, the total United States federal government debt was $190,000 as opposed to $18 trillion today. Give that some thought. How about this? Did you know that Goethe couldn't stand the sound of barking dogs and could only write if he had an apple rotting in the drawer of his desk? How ridiculous is that? And there are 4 cars and 10 light posts on the back of a $10 bill. Did you hear that? There are 4 cars and 10 light posts on the back of a $10 bill. Count them. Did you know that in Kansas, it's illegal to catch bullfrogs in a tomato patch? You can get them anywhere else, but not in a tomato patch. Let's give you another one here. Did you know that almonds are members of the peach family? I didn't know that. How about this? The most dangerous job in the United States is that of an Alaskan crab fisherman. Wow. Give that some thought. How's that grab you? Yeah, how's that grab you? How about this? You know, in ancient Greece, if a woman watched even one Olympic event, she was executed. By the way, did you know in ancient Greece, when they had Olympic events, they were done in the nude? These Olympians wore nothing. I'm not going to go there. Did you know that a dog's average body temperature is 101 degrees Fahrenheit? And do you care? Who cares? Not that far off humans anyway. 98.6, 101. And finally, Columbia University is the second largest landowner in New York City, right after the Catholic Church. Give that some serious thought. And while you're doing it, do not go away, because when we come back, I'm going to deal with your emails. And the first email that's up today is from Amy Mees. She says she's from Ames, Iowa. She's asking about an adjusted home sales price, and I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:52 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 78 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire. That's down from 82 on its way to 60 in sunny Southern California. Well, it's time for our emails today. I want to remind you to always contact a licensed professional before you go out and do anything. This is an entertainment section of the show, and the answers are based on the facts that you give us. Sometimes that can be a little sketchy. So we're always going to encourage you to always check with a licensed professional before you do anything out there. Now, my first email today comes from Avery Mees from Ames, Iowa. She's asking about an adjusted home sales price, or I shouldn't say she. I'm not sure it's a she or a he. In any event, writes, before closing on the purchase of a home, we found some defects that the seller promised to make good. Rather than delay the sale to fix them or change the sales price, he sent me a check for $7,000 after the sale. Is this taxable to me? Well, Avery, the payment to you is an adjustment to the sales price, so it's not taxable to you, but reduces your cost basis in the home. That's its cost to you for tax purposes when computing gain or loss on its future sale. any amounts that you spend to improve the home by fixing the defects will increase your basis in the house. Let me give you an example. If you bought the home for $200,000, the $7,000 that to you reduces your basis in it to $193,000. That's $7,000 taken away from that $200,000. If you spend $6,500 of that $7,000 on fixing the defects, your cost basis in it will increase to $199,500. Now, keep records documenting what occurred so that you won't have any issues. Next email comes from Gabriela Oliveras from Torrington, Connecticut, asking about a reasonable salary and writes, can I avoid paying myself the reasonable salary that corporations must pay their owners if I set my business up as a partnership? Well, Gabriella, it's not the owners of a corporation who must pay or take a reasonable salary, but the owner employees. Those who work for it. Now, the owner of a private corporation, they're likely to be working for it, but any who don't will receive only dividends and not salaries. Partnerships are a little different. Partners don't receive salaries even if they work for the business. They receive draws, which can be set at zero. Now, general partners are subject to self-employment tax, which is the equivalent of Social Security and Medicare for self-employed individuals, regardless of whether they participate in that business activity or not. So hopefully that's helped you. Next email comes from Saya Patel from Downey, California, asking about an inheritance from abroad, and writes, my wife expects to receive a large inheritance from a relative in a foreign country. Does the IRS have any special tax rules that apply to inheritances from abroad? Well, Saya, an inheritance received from abroad is tax-free to the recipient, just as any other inheritance would be. However, reporting requirements apply to certain bequests, gifts, and trust distributions from abroad. Now, your wife may be required to file Form 3520, that's the annual return to report transactions with foreign trusts in receipt of certain foreign gifts, or maybe Form 3520-A, which is the annual information return of foreign trust with a U.S. owner. Keep in mind, penalties for failing to do this can be really steep, and criminal penalties may even apply. So check with that tax professional we were talking about before you decide what to do. They're going to give you the best advice, I promise. Now, my last email comes from Melissa Reyes from Sheridan, Colorado, asking about an IRA contributions. It says, if I retire at the end of the year, will I be able to make a deductible IRA contribution for the following year? So here's the deal. The answer is yes. The IRA contribution limit increases to $5,000 and to $6,000 for anybody who's 50 years old or older for both traditional and Roth IRAs. Now, this is $1,000 more than it used to be. Having earned an income this year can enable you to contribute as much as that limit or an amount that or up to the amount that you earn, whichever is less, to an IRA. If you earn income only in January, you're unlikely to reach any of the income limits that restrict the high earners from making IRA contributions. But check the details and other eligibility requirements in IRS Publication 590. That's Individual Retirement Arrangements and IRAs. You'll be glad you did that. Now, I want to remind you one more time, always, always, always seek the advice of a licensed professional. They're going to save you more than they cost you. They're going to let you sleep at night and have peace of mind. Nobody's going to tap you on the shoulder, call you on the phone, or send you a registered letter. And if they do, these licensed professionals are required to have errors and omissions insurance. So if they give you the wrong advice, they got to pay the piper. That's worth it, folks. Trust me, that's worth it. Well, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every single Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and Live 365 Radio every Friday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com
And email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get the emails I deal with here on the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is going to be John Matthews in his Conservative Syndicate series. Excuse me. My special guest will be Sean Lefebvre talking healthcare on his series Geared for Wellness. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza. Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, stay safe, stay happy, and good night, everybody.